everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about some of the manga that I've been reading recently / in the past few months. Normally I do this like for every 2 months, but honestly I've just been reading some really bad manga and I don't want to talk about them because I'm sick of talking about bad manga. Obviously I'm always honest with my opinions on here and I really pride myself on that, but even I get sick of talking about bad manga over and over and over again. So I waited until I had some things that I had positive thoughts about to make a wrap-up video like this. Having said that, let's get started with the manga that I really did not like. If you recall, I was planning on doing this TBR wheel, and I did do it once. I was planning on doing it again. But anyway, the TBR wheel gave me 5 manga to read for 3 months. I have already talked about 2 of those manga previously in another video. Those ones were Beck and Ichinose Family's Deadly Sins. Neither of those I enjoyed. In fact, I really kind of hated both of them. So I was really wary of continuing this challenge, and if you know me, I love a challenge, okay? So I wasn't going to, abandon this. I maybe should have, though, because I read the next 3 manga. I was planning on reading, all the volumes of all these series, but I just couldn't do it anymore. So the other 3 series were Rave Master, Basilisk, and those Snow White Notes. That's the last one. So out of these 3, I started with Rave Master. This is by the author of Fairy Tail, if you didn't know. And I do like Fairy Tail, okay? It's kind of silly. In fact, it's very silly. It's not that well written, but I had a good time with it. And I was hoping the same would happen with Rave Master, and I think I got through 6 volumes, and I'm not opposed to reading it again, but it was just not doing anything amazing for me, and I wanted to be reading other things, so I put this on the back burner, and I might continue it again in the future. I have all the volumes digitally, so I can do that at any point. But like I said earlier, I was really getting sick of reading mediocre manga, so I decided to put this on hold for now. If I do continue it in the future, I will of course let you know and talk about it, but out of all 5 manga that I read for this challenge, this was probably the best one, and it's kind of sad that I said that because I dropped it 6 volumes in for now. So if that's the best one, Okay, so next I read, which one did I read next? I think I read Basilisk next, and this is a 5-volume series, okay? There's no reason I shouldn't be able to finish a 5-volume series. I only read 2 of the volumes. And this one, I think my expectations were just not in the correct place, okay? I thought it was going to be an interesting, kind of political series about these 2 warring factions and this forbidden love thing in the middle. It's not. It's an action series with people with really ridiculous powers. I thought the art was technically good, but the way that characters were drawn was disgusting, which was the intent, okay? That's not a criticism, but I just did not like reading it. I wanted something more, with more substance, and it did not have it, unfortunately. It was just an action series, which is totally fine. If that's what you're looking for, maybe give this a try, but that is not what I was looking for at the moment. And again, at this point in the challenge, I was getting really sick of reading bad manga. So I just cut my losses and decided I'm not going to read that anymore. So I had one more manga, and this is the one I thought, surely this cannot go wrong, right? And that one is those Snow White Notes. This is a drama music manga. And how could this be bad? There's no way, right? It has really good reviews. I've heard people that I watch on YouTube, they enjoyed it. So I read the first volume, and I really hated the first half, okay? I really hated it, and I went and read reviews, and people were like, oh my god, I'm so sad because I really enjoyed the first half, and the direction it's going now, I didn't like it. And I don't understand, because I did not like the first half at all. Then the second half is the main character going into high school, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to start in the music club and that kind of stuff, okay? Kind of sports manga, music manga, high school thing, which I enjoy. But the first half of the manga was just so disappointing to me that the second half could not save it. The second half of the volume. Again, I only read 1 volume of this. So at this point, I was really sick of this challenge. I knew I wasn't going to be continuing it, at least not for this year. We'll see, maybe I have to revamp it for next year. But I just was done reading bad manga, and I guess that means I failed the challenge, but I guess I could fail this challenge. It's okay. This reading year has really not been great for me. If you couldn't tell, a lot of the manga I'm reading have been either mediocre or I just did not like them at all. And so I was done. I didn't want to read any more digital manga at all. So I cut my losses and decided I will maybe revisit Rave Master maybe in the future revisit the Snow White notes, but the other ones, no more. I'm done. I only finished one of the 5 series that I've set out to read in 3 months, and this is really saying something because I love a challenge. I will stick it out and read something that I'm not liking, sometimes out of spite, which is not great, but I just couldn't do it anymore. Just 5 not great manga. It was not doing me any favors, so I'm done with that. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about something that I actually liked. So I have 2 volume 1s. Normally I save these for their own video to talk about some of the new series that are coming out, but I don't really know how many more volume 1s are coming out recently, and I don't want to wait too long to talk about these, especially this one. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about these, and firstly, we're going to talk about The Strange House. And I did mention this in my haul video, but I want to reiterate, this is a really great first volume. This is a horror manga, and I'm just going to give you a very brief synopsis. So this guy is interested in the occult, and he gets approached by this other guy. I think he's his friend, or his client or something, but this guy shows him this floor plan of a house. And there's just some weird things with this floor plan, okay? It's very strange, and things don't make sense. That's literally all I'm going to give you, okay? This is one, if you like horror manga, 100% give this a try. If you like mystery manga, this one, go ahead. And I've said this before, but this is adapted from a novel, and usually when I read manga that are adapted from light novels, it does not go well. It feels like the manga is just kind of an ad to sell the light novel, but I do find manga that adapt full-length novels usually go better for me, and this one is definitely like that. This manga has so much atmosphere, it's so suspenseful and creepy, and I just loved it. It's also a movie, so I haven't watched the movie because I don't know how to access it through legal means, and honestly, even if I did have access to it, I don't think I would want to watch it because I want to just keep reading this manga because it was so interesting and just had me completely captivated, and I cannot recommend this enough if you like the same things as I do, which is, you know, horror manga, creepy things. Yeah, I feel like that was pretty vague, but with this manga, I really can't say too many things. Give it a try if you're looking for something to read in this spooky season, because I think it's kind of perfect. Next, I read Trillion Game Volume 1, and so this is about these 2 guys. We already know that at this point they are trillionaires, but then we go back and see their journey to starting their business and trying to get investors, stuff like that. I don't know why I picked this up, because it doesn't really sound like my thing. I think I saw the psychological tag and thought it would be something a little bit more interesting than it is, at least so far. I don't know. I didn't love this first volume. I really like the art, of course. I also found out that Roichi Ikigami is 80 years old. I did not know that. But anyway, this is a lot more silly than I thought it would be. And at this point in the manga, they're trying to get investors for their business, but they don't even have a business. Like, they have no idea what they want to do. They're just trying to get money, and it's just a little ridiculous. Which, hey, I love a ridiculous manga every now and then, but I guess that's just not what I was expecting from this at all. Maybe I should have, since the author is the same author as iShield 21. I don't know, I'm just not enjoying the characters, especially this guy. Normally, I like the overconfident characters. I do not like him for some reason. The other character is just there. He's kind of a nerdy, like, coder guy. It's fine, but yeah, I'll give this one more volume, I think. Hopefully it gets a little bit more serious. At least that's what I want. If it doesn't, that's okay. It just means it's not my thing. But at this point, I'm not incredibly impressed, so we'll see. Next, I realized I never talked about my final thoughts on Blood on the Tracks, and I just really want to briefly talk about this. My thoughts have not changed upon reading the final volume. I think this second half of the story, not really half, the second part is so much better than the first part. And of course, I really enjoyed the first part, but the second part is just so emotional and gut-wrenching, and every single volume gave me chills. And of course, I can't talk about specifics without giving away spoilers, but this final volume just brought everything together, and it had a satisfying conclusion, in my opinion. I was just completely blown away by this entire manga, and this has solidified it as my favorite Shuzo Shimi manga. I wasn't really expecting that, because to me, Inside Mari is definitely like my favorite, but this one, it beat it out, and I really did not think it would. Maybe because the first half, again, I really love the first half, but the second half just hit me a lot harder than the first half did. And of course, the author's note just gives you more glimpses into Shuzo Oshimi's life and his experience and the reason he wrote this manga. And I don't know, I love this manga so much. I know some people were disappointed with this second part of the manga, but I loved it. And of course, I can't wait to see what Shuzo Oshimi decides to do after this. I don't know what he'll do, but I will read it for sure. Next, let's talk about something a little silly, shall we? I read UFO Mushroom Invasion. This is put out by Living the Line through their Smudge imprint. This is their second manga under this imprint. It's their second kind of really old, well, 50-year-old or so horror manga. This is exactly what it says in the title. It's a UFO Mushroom Invasion. This kid sees this alien spaceship and he goes to investigate, and through various circumstances, there's this like UFO mushroom, like this mushroom alien thing, this alien mushroom that kind of takes over and starts attacking things and people. And yeah, if it sounds like a really silly, like old sci-fi horror movie, that's basically what it is. And I had a great time with this. There's also like interesting in between sections about mushrooms and also about aliens. And I just loved the entire experience. It just felt like reading a part of silly horror history. Here's some like folk horror tales about mushrooms. And it's not just like a little side thing. It feels like part of the story. And so there's only 2 of them so far, but I'm really enjoying these manga that Living the Line are putting out in this imprint. I love any old horror manga. They're just so fun. And also there's just so many of them that will likely never get to read in English. So any opportunity we have to get some more, I will definitely read them. I know that Living the Line is also going to be publishing one called Mansect. I think this is about a guy turning into a bug. I don't know, I'm gonna read it, okay? Next is one that I feel like I am one of very few people who actually enjoyed this manga the entire way through, and this is King in Limbo. So I've talked about this a couple times, but this is about in the future, basically there's this sleeping sickness that puts people to sleep and then they have weird dreams and they die. And then they had to find these people who have these powers to go into these people's dreams and heal them. And supposedly that's all over, but surprise, surprise, it has come back. And he, one of the like best people at this power, has to team up with this guy because you need a second person to kind of anchor them. And so they basically team up and have to solve the mystery of why this pandemic is returning and stuff like that. So I will say this is only a 3 omnibus series. It's only 6 volumes in total. And I can totally understand there's pacing issues. Okay, this ending is not perfect, but maybe it's just made for me. Okay, these manga about going into people's dreams and really psychologically testing people. I don't know. Dystopian futures, conspiracies. I feel like sometimes I have really high standards for some manga, and then other times I don't really care. As long as it's a little bit entertaining, I will enjoy it. And this one is the case with this. I do see some really mixed opinions on the series, and I understand, but I really enjoyed the characters. I really loved their stories and their relationship. It's not a BL. I've seen a couple people think that this is a BL. This is not a BL manga, but I just really enjoyed them like becoming friends, and also the whole mystery about the sleeping sickness and then them going into dreams and all the art there. I also have seen a couple reviews of people saying that the art was hard to follow. I didn't find that at all. In fact, I thought it was very easy to follow, but I just thought I'd mention that because that is some criticism of it. So yeah, this manga is definitely not without its flaws, but I had a really great time reading it, and it is on the shorter side. So maybe if that sounds really interesting to you, maybe give it a try. But again, the other reviews say that it's not that great, and maybe, but I had a good time with it. Sorry if I'm a little rambly in this video. Normally I have written out notes about all the series I want to talk about, my thoughts on them. This time I decided to just wing it. So I feel like I'm talking a lot faster, and I'm, again, a little bit more rambly, but it's fine, right? I have one more manga I wanted to talk about in this video, and that is Given. I read all 9 volumes since the 9th one came out semi-recently, and this is one I've watched the anime, the original series, as well as the movie. I think there's like another movie out now, but there's no way to watch it legally, so I haven't watched that, but I did watch the first one. Anyway, so if you didn't know, this is a BL manga that's very popular. It's about this band, and they're just trying to be a band and be successful. And we have kind of our main two characters. They're in high school, and then our other two characters here. And it's just a drama manga. There's lots of really heavy emotions, and I enjoyed it for sure. I will say that at about volume 5 or 6, they start to focus on some of the side characters that are friends of this guy from his past, and I do not care for those characters really. So those volumes I did not like as much, but anytime they were focusing on the main four, I really enjoyed it. I like the ending a lot. I do see why this manga gets recommended for people who are trying to get into BL manga. I do think it's a little overhyped, but I did enjoy my time with it. So yeah. So that was everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I feel like I went through a couple of these pretty quickly, but also there were more than I usually mention in one video. Anyway, let me know if you've read any of these, what your thoughts on them were, or let me know what you've read and enjoyed or didn't enjoy recently in the comments below. But that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!